name is Deja Monroe, and I am on the marketing team for the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce. On September 14th through 16th, the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce held its 16th annual conference under the incredible leadership of President and CEO Larry Ivory, who is also the chairman of the board of the National Black Chamber of Commerce. During the conference, the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce held its annual matchmaking session. These sessions literally put Black business owners in front of the majority multi-billion-dollar corporations for frank discussions regarding business opportunities. This was an incredible event that was unprecedented with reference to any Black business organization navigating ways to connect Black businesses with major corporations, such as Nicor Gas, ComEd, Groupon, U of I, Eastern Illinois, Moraine Valley, and many more corporate partners who participated. So, without further ado, please take a listen to testimonials for some of the Black businesses and major corporations who attended the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce's matchmaking sessions at this year's 16th annual convention. Thank you.
Good evening, Randy.
Good evening.
Hey, welcome to this conversation we're going to be having about our matchmaking session. We were glad to have you participate. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and the company that you represent?
Well, again, it's Randy McIntyre. I'm with XL Screen Printing and Embroidery. We are a contract decorator, performing screen printing and embroidery of any type of promotional merchandise, apparel, uniforms. And we do work for some of the largest promotional companies in the industry that handle major sports teams. We also handle corporations, and we're nimble enough to also work with some of the smaller companies.
Fantastic, Randy. Randy, real quick question. I mean, what do you think about the matchmaking session from your perspective? What was the highlight of the session for you?
The highlight of the session for me was, as you know, Larry, Illinois American Water is one of my customers now because of the chamber. And because of that, I've been wanting to kind of work that vertical in the utility industry. And we've talked about that for a little while. So I would say a highlight was my one-on-one talk with Kelly Heron, I believe is her name. I believe I'm pronouncing it correctly, from ComEd Exelon. And she not only listened to my spiel, but she also asked me very significant questions to see where XL would fit in best as a vendor in their vendor pool. So that, I found to be very intriguing, in that, you don't often get someone going to that extent to see where you fit in. They just kind of listen to you and then they tell you some information. So that was a highlight for me.
Absolutely. So let me ask another question. Randy, if you had an opportunity to participate in another matchmaking with different companies and different organizations, would you take advantage of the opportunity again?
I absolutely would. It's a big plus to have doors open to you like that, to key people and keep decision-making areas, because as you know, the prospecting process could be a very long process, and most times is a very long process, not just getting in the door, but then being vetted, getting people to know you and what you're worth. And that's not easy when you're talking to people, you're showing them things. And a lot of times we always say the proof is in the seeing. So we get our best on that end when people actually come out to our facility and sit down and meet with us and see exactly what we have and what we do. But being able to have these one-on-one sessions is a big plus in leapfrogging a lot of that process and getting right down to, okay, what do we need to do business with your company?
Well, Randy, I know there was a lot of companies who were very excited to see you, and they had expressed their interest in you. Would you recommend this to, say, someone else outside who's don't know the chamber, but's looking to grow their business? What would you say to them about participating in the matchmaking?
I would say to definitely take part in that, because again, what I just said, and also, I personally know what you and the chamber bring to the table in terms of getting in front of people, in terms of what your reach is in different areas, politically, business-wise, in a number of different areas, and being able to take a company and saying, okay, look, this is one I think you should talk to, and making those type of connections. So I would definitely recommend other businesses to take part in the matchmaking sessions.
Well, Randy, hey, we want to thank you for sharing with us and sharing with our team in terms of your experience. Thanks a lot and have a great day.
Thank you, Larry, and thanks for what you do. Thanks for bringing everything to the table that you do with the chamber.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Givens.
Good afternoon, sir. How are
Ron,
you?
tell us a little bit about your company, who you are and your company.
We are a construction company called Givesco Construction, and we're general contractors. We are located in the Midwest, in the Pekin area of Illinois, and we've been in existence since 2011. We currently have about 31 people working for us, and we have several certifications that make us a premier company in the construction area.
Thank you, Ron. Well, we know you're a first-class organization, and you have an impeccable reputation for doing projects on time, under budget, and on schedule, and make you a very profitable company. Ron, you participated recently in the matchmaking session of the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce. Can you give us kind of your perspective in terms of what you thought in terms of the matchmaking, and maybe even some of the people that you had a chance to talk to and meet with, and maybe a little bit of the highlights from your perspective?
Well, first of all, I want to comment that the convention was very well conducted, and the people that we had wanted to talk to were companies like Ameren and People's Gas. We also wanted to talk to Nicor and a few of the other large utility companies. We were able to meet with everyone that we were scheduled to talk with. And what came of that was the fact that most of it we will be following up, and we've already had several of the contracting officers follow up with us already. The meeting itself was rather unique. It happened to be one of the first ones that I've been a participant in. It did, as I said, go off well, and the chamber provided good backup within the structure of the program. I think that a program like that was well designed, and we should do more, especially in this time of COVID. So I liked it, and people that participated on my team, each one of them went away with a piece of information that they were going to follow up on, and that is actually in progress right now as we sit here. So,
well, thanks, Ron. The other thing that I thought was interesting in terms of the matchmaking session, we were very intentional about not only with you following up, but we're going to be following up with the vendors also, just to encourage them to make sure they're responding back and that they celebrate successes at the same time. So, Ron, if we did another session like this, would you participate? And I think my last question to you would be, if you were talking to another business owners, what would you tell them about participating in the matchmaking?
I think it'd be very beneficial right off the bat. I mean, anytime you can make contact and build a relationship, and in this case, the new environment that we're working in, obviously, is through the computer and all of the infrastructure that goes with it. I would encourage them to seek it out, and especially if there's a chamber, or especially the Illinois Black Chamber, to use the tools that are being provided to make contact with companies all over, basically now, the world.
Super. Well, Ron, hey, we know you've had great success with Ameren, and they continue to celebrate your successes as an organization. And I know ComEd and others will be equally as satisfied with you. So again, Ryan, on behalf of the Chamber and its board, we'd like to thank you for participating in our matchmaking session. If we have any last comments you'd like to make, then you can make it at this time.
Well, I certainly do appreciate having the opportunity to participate as a member of the Illinois Black Chamber. I am definitely a supporter of the Chamber and hope that you will continue to do the work that you're doing. You are making a difference, and it's small companies like mine that are becoming multi-million-dollar type companies. And we are on a trajectory to do even more than what we've done in the past. And a lot of that is due to the relationships that we've built through and with the Illinois Black Chamber.
Mr. Gibbons, thank you very much. Thank you.
Greetings.
Hey, Dr. Sterling, glad to have you with us today. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the organization that you run and the company that you run.
Well, the companies that I run that are affiliated with the Chamber include SI Medical Supply, which is a global master distributor of medical, surgical, and personal protective equipment, supplies, and devices. And also we represent Simco, which is America's first managed preventive healthcare organization. So we identify and implement solutions that empower people to be better stewards of their own healthcare.
Super. Well, Dr. Sterling, you participated just recently in our 16th annual convention, which one of the highlights of our conference we thought was the matchmaking. Can you give us some perspective on, was there value in that, and what was your thoughts in terms of the matchmaking from your perspective?
There's always value in matchmaking. That's kind of the point of the Chamber and the point of businesses participating. You can get all the information in the world that you want, but until the rubber meets the road and you're face to face with primes and other clients, potential clients, then that's all activity. And we want to be in the business of obtaining business. So the matchmaking actually hit the bullseye in providing opportunities for us to directly speak with decision makers and organizations with whom we could contract. So kudos to the Chamber for having that level of foresight.
Thank you, Dr. Sterling. Dr. Sterling, in terms of when you take a look at the matchmaking, was there anything that stood out? Was there anything that you remember most of all about the matchmaking, or even any number of companies that you met with that you thought were very productive?
It's good. There's a lot of room for improvement, and that's mostly on the end of the primes. And what I mean by that is that I would love to see them come to the table prepared to do business. And similar events by other organizations actually tee them up so that they come to the event with a certain amount of spend available in the form of spot bids, where they are willing and prepared to give away money to members of the Chamber at a specific point in time during the meeting. I'd love to see that introduced. I think that that is actually a higher level of where the rubber meets the road. Also, I would be very interested in the process, because we've been doing this for a few years now, and we have obtained businesses from various universities and other participating organizations. But I always bristle at the notion that we get slotted into the lower ends of procurement activity when in fact we're prepared to be prime vendors for these institutions. So I really would like to have conversations with these organizations through the Chamber, where they understand that we're not here for those crumbs, but we're actually prepared to operate at the highest levels of performance for their companies and their businesses. And we can do so in a way that is competitive with anybody else with whom they're conducting business.
Thank you. So if you were talking to a business who didn't know the Chamber, and they were perhaps asking you, would you recommend them to attend the matchmaking session that we offer as an organization, if they were a new company, small company wanting to participate?
No, I wouldn't. I would actually tell them they'd be nuts if they did. This is probably the single best business development dollar that you'll spend. As I mentioned, there are people that are actually at the table. I know I got you with that one, didn't I? There are people that are actually at the table that are ready. There are people who are actually at the table who are ready to conduct business, and that is exactly what you want as a young and starting business. You want people that are ready to give you that opportunity. And through the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce, they've done the dirty work in finding out where business lies. And as a member of the chamber, you come with a stamp of approval that these entities will trust. So don't just do it, run and do it, and make that a priority of how you're spending your business development dollars.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shirley. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Take care.
Pleasure. Take care.
Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your company?
Well, thank you, Larry. My name is Jesse Thomas. I am President CEO of Mintex Inc. Mintex Inc. is a nationwide MBE debt collection agency. We're located on the New West Side of Chicago, Illinois. We've been in business for over 17 years, servicing federal, municipal, education, utility, and banking debt types.
Super, super. You participated in the matchmaking session recently on the Chamber's 16th annual event, and one of the highlights was the matchmaking session. Can you give us your perspective on what did the matchmaking mean to you, or how do you feel about the matchmaking, and what is something of value to you and your organization?
Well, thank you for the question. One major highlight occurred during my first session, where the prospective client that I've courted for a few years now was as excited to see me as I was, to see them. And obviously they're aware of my continued plight to work with their organization. But during the conversation, to my delight, in decisive words, they stated that now is the time to find a way to contract with us for services. Absolutely, that was a great meeting.
Super, super. So Jesse, if you take a look at the value that perhaps you've gotten, would you say that if you were talking to another company, what would you tell them if they say, hey, should I participate in the matchmaking? What would you say to a young company or a company who was interested perhaps in doing the matchmaking?
Well, that's a great question, Larry. And, I've recommended membership to the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce to my peers for, many times over the years. I believe you and your bully pulpit of the chamber are transformative forces. The convention is a celebration of sorts, I'd say, a gathering of industry and Black business for a moment in time, right? We capture that moment in time where we're all working towards the same goal of opportunity, Black business opportunity. And I believe that the matchmaking sessions are paradigm altering sessions. And I recommend all chamber members to participate. As you like to say all the time, it's not who you know, but who knows you. And this session allows your business to be heard as well as known.
Well, Jesse, hey, I can't echo nothing but the compliments to you and your organization for the work that they have done as one of the leading organizations in debt collection. So my hat's off to you and to your organization. And I would give you a moment to make any last comments in reference to the matchmaking that you would like to share.
I'd like to say that, I've participated in matchmaking sessions since 2018, since, your first invite to me. And that was back when people were actually able to sit across from one another. I made great connections then during in-person sessions, equally as fruitful, I'd say, with the forced online format. I plan on participating, for years to come. And if you're a business out there that is trying to get in front of that decision maker, don't think that you're too small to actually have that meeting, because this chamber, this matchmaking session, your organization, puts them on a playing table that gives them that opportunity.
But Jesse, we want to thank you again for running an outstanding organization, and we'd like to wish you a great day, and thanks a lot for your time.
Oh, thank you, Larry. God bless. Thank you.
Malcolm, can you introduce your full name, and also what is it that you do, your company? Tell us a little bit about your company.
For sure. I'll tell you about my companies. My name is Malcolm Weems. I am currently the CEO and president of Weemsway Consulting, which is a governmental consulting company based around government contracting and procurement. But I also have recently started a company called Techly Partners, which is an IT services company, of course, which I'm the CEO and the owner of, but and provide services in terms of staffing, modernization, and things of that nature. And we partner with larger firms in the IT arena. So two things got me really busy.
Super, super. And that's just something else that got you really busy too, but we're not going to talk about that now. Malcolm has just had a little baby, so he is busy missing sleep right now. But Malcolm, let me go ahead.
Every second counts. Thanks, Larry.
Yeah. Let me ask a quick question. You were part of the 16th annual matchmaking session, which was one of the highlights of the conference. Can you give us your perspective in terms of meeting with companies and what's your thoughts on that in terms of matchmaking?
First of all, and I don't say this in just because I'm talking to you, Larry, but I think as a person, and this is coming from my opinion, as a person that has worked in government for quite some time, both in the private sector, in the public sector, and then going out into the private sector, starting to do business on my own and having to build that business has been, it's always, you constantly have to push. What I loved about the matchmaking was that it allowed me, right, and some of my partners to meet with people that I know as a lobbyist, right, who's a person that does lobbying, is very difficult to do. I know people, and you have a hard time getting meetings with people at times. But what this situation has done has allowed people to be on a meeting, right, a one-on-one meeting, and talk to people, find out about understand how they even receive new partnerships and how they even, pick the vendors that they work with, understanding folks that they would like to make their client or to make their customer. So it was incredible because I think that in all my years in government, I ran an agency, Central Management Services, which, kind of managed all of the statewide contracts for the state. And, it was always a tough thing to fight for participation on contracts. And it was because these people didn't know each other, right? I mean, you got to think that the prime that you're trying to connect with a minority business may not know them, right? This was an opportunity for people to get to actually meet these small businesses out there, understanding that they do exist. And it was a time for these small businesses to get in front of people that, it might have taken them years and still never have met personally. So that's invaluable access and excuse me, and information. So, I was, again, as a person that, was supposed to be doing this at the state level, those years when I was running CMS, it was amazing. It was great.
Super. Malcolm, if you were talking to someone else who was looking to grow their business and they asked you about should they participate in the matchmaking, what would your comment be to a new business or someone who perhaps has never done the matchmaking, is not familiar with the chamber? What would your comments be to them?
Can you meet with the head of a utility? Can you meet with, Groupon, the head of the people that run Groupon? I mean, so, and I would tell anybody this, that all real, it's been the truth for me at least, all real business is done by getting access to people that you want to sell to, right? Or people that you want to work with. So, if you are coming out the gate, if you want to get, and I don't want to digress, but I think about this thing about Eazy-E. He went to the president's luncheon or something because he had made some money, and the Republicans send him he's a gangster rapper, and he goes to the White House. He doesn't, care about Ronald Reagan or any of these people, but he told the people when they interviewed him, they're like, "Why'd you go?" He said, "I spent $1,500 for $1 million worth of press. I'm good." That having access to people that can actually make your business grow, you're not going to get that as a new business. You're not going to get that at the level that you would get from the chamber. Because again, I've been doing business for a long time, and I've known you for a long time, Larry. This one-on-one matchmaking thing was good. It was eye-opening for me. It was every sector you could imagine. I mean, that's hard to do.
Super. Well, Malcolm, we want to thank you for your time, and we know that you're going to have some long and sleepless nights with the little one. But
Oh, well,
congratulations again on the little one, and again, thank you for your participation in the 16th annual matchmaking session.
Larry,
You have any final comments?
oh, for sure. Larry, thank you. I think that in the time where, the pandemic, we've lost 50% or more of the Black businesses in this country. I think it's really important for the people that are serious about doing business, getting back caught up, rebuilding better, if you will. Having access, it's hard for us to get access to capital. It's hard for us to get access to all these other things. But having access to potential clients and customers is essential for business. And I think I'm thanking you for keeping the chamber going and pushing in this direction and offering this thing, because I think if people attend, anyone that has attended is going to be like, oh man, this is cool. They might not want to tell anybody else because they want to meet with all those people next year by themselves. I mean, it was a good event. But I also think that people understand that it benefit us. So I'm thanking you for thanking me, but I look forward to next year.
Super. Thank you, Malcolm.
Take care.
Hi.
Super. Crystal, glad to have you on with us today. Why don't you tell us your name and tell us a little bit about your company?
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for having me. And it's just awesome to talk with you, Larry, and talk about the Chamber of Commerce and how much it's been so beneficial to me already. My name is Crystal Barnes. For those of you who don't know, I am the CEO of ARC Studios Chicago LLC. It is a two-pronged company. We produce and develop, whether it's short films, feature films, commercials, ads for companies and organizations. We also have a 78,000 square foot studio space in Elgin, Illinois, that people, creators, businesses can come and produce their own content if they need just their space. So that is us in a nutshell. And again, I'm grateful to have this conversation.
Super. Well, Chris, you were a part of the 16th annual state convention, and part of the highlights of the convention was the matchmaking. And you were also on our panel too, but the matchmaking people really enjoy. Can you give us your perspective on the matchmaking and what you thought about being able to sit down and talk to companies?
Well, first of all, the opportunity is rare for a small business like myself and kind of starting out, to have an opportunity to get in front of these kinds of businesses and organizations that you might be able to see if your product or a service fits a need for them. A lot of times you're going through phone calls and having to go through so many different, stages where, you get through to a phone call, but not the right person, and you might not get an access to the right person to answer a phone call or an email. So this was really an awesome opportunity to actually get rid of the middleman and be able to talk to companies right away. So it was, for me, I think it was an opportunity that I don't think that anyone should want to not have.
Super. Well, I know that there was a couple companies who've already called me and said they were very impressed with you, like Groupon. What's your thoughts in terms of, is there any one thing that stood out in any one meeting with any one company that you were like, man, that's pretty awesome?
Well, I met with a couple of companies. I met with Nicor Gas. I met with Groupon, as you said. I also met with the Illinois Toll Road, a number of universities. I think probably Groupon and Nicor Gas were at least most memorable to me, because it was something that I felt like what my company has, a service, was actually a need for them. And so it was really good to talk with them. I really appreciated their transparency and how they're opening up opportunities for people of color, women to kind of emerge and include diversity in their companies and their organizations. So I think for me, having that and then being able to follow up in an email and then get a response too was also really nice. And hopefully, again, as time goes on, we'll see how that plays out and what fruits come from that labor.
Super. Hey, would you recommend this to a small business owner or to a business owner who perhaps had never been to the matchmaking? Would you encourage them to participate, and why?
I would absolutely. I would encourage any small business that whether you've been around for a while or you're just starting out and you're just trying to make those connections. Again, I think probably the biggest needs for small businesses tend to be funding, but even more important than that sometimes is just the opportunity to network and the opportunity to meet businesses that you can connect with and do business with. And I think this I would recommend highly because it does just that. And you don't have to do all the legwork. The legwork is done for you by the Illinois Black Chamber of Commerce, and you're basically reaping the fruit of that by just being, coming on board and being paying for the registration and getting an opportunity to meet with so many different businesses that you might not get a chance with too. And so, it can be months or years before you get a chance to do that.
Well, Crystal, we want to thank you for the great work that you've done. And I know you got a big grand opening coming up, and I think it's in November.
It's November 5th. We have an opening, grand opening. So we'll be having some key people in to see the space, and we're ready to hit the ground running.
Yeah, the chamber will be in full support. Our marketing team will send out the information to invite people to come and celebrate the grand opening of an incredible film studio. So thanks a lot, Crystal.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Again, welcome. Glad to have you on, Tina.
Oh, thank you so much, Larry. Well, I'm Tina Augustus. I'm the founder of Elevate Services, a marketing and communications company. We are a WMBE and MBE certified with the City of Chicago. We're looking to get our certifications with the county and state very soon. We are a full marketing and communications company offering website development, as well as social media marketing. We offer an array of services. We do special graphic design collaborative pieces. We also help companies and nonprofit organizations with special events, community relations. We do copy. Do you want me to continue, Larry, or is that enough?
That's enough, Tina. Hey, let me ask a question real quick. Do you do logo branding?
We do. We also help companies brand themselves. We also work with rebranding as well.
Super. Hey, Tina, we just finished our 16th annual state convention. And one of the highlights of that convention was the matchmaking. So what I'd like to ask you, though, is kind of what was your thought on the matchmaking? How did it go? How did you feel? Was it worthwhile to participate in the matchmaking? And give me a little bit of the highlights of the things that you like most about the matchmaking.
Well, one thing I can say is this was a great matchmaking session. I think the chamber has pretty much polished. You've polished yourselves as far as doing the matchmaking. I've been involved in working from behind the scene with matchmaking, from helping fill out the schedules to standing there and directing people. I'll say this was like the top of matchmaking. One thing I found is having the businesses in a private portal, people were natural. They joked a little. Oh, I'm sorry. They joked a little. They shared, some intimate as well as professional moments. I think this gave the business owners as well as those who were coming to find vendors an opportunity to really kind of like get to know each other. I love the virtual kind of theme. I didn't think I was going to like it, but I felt that it was really great. My high moment, I would say, would be I'm officially WMBE and MBE certified. It took me a while, but I'm so happy that now I can, sit at the table with the various businesses and offer the services that I've been providing for many years. So I look at this as a privilege. This is an honor to be able to sit at the businesses. And then another major thing is the chamber is bringing so many businesses to the table. This is something to me that's unheard of. It would take us a really long time to call these places, try to schedule a meeting. And when you do, a lot of times they're so busy running around trying to handle other business, they don't have time to sit and interview business owners looking to, do contracts with them. So I look at this as something prime with the chamber.
So it would be fair to assume then that you would highly recommend this to other businesses, that if they were offered an opportunity to join the chamber and participate in matchmaking, you would highly encourage that to a new business or a business that's been around for a while.
Definitely. I look at this as like one of the key benefits of joining the chamber, that the chamber is going to help you grow. And this is a real thing, because a lot of times you join, and now I'm an executive director of a chamber. I really get it. I understand. And so I'm working to model our chamber after the Illinois State Chamber, to help bring, businesses to the table so that they can build relationships with these companies and also eventually do contracts with them.
Fantastic. Hey, nothing but love for you, Tina. You do a great job. And again, my hat's off to you. And thank you for your time.
All right. Take care.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, yes, sir. I'm here.
Good to see you, man. Hey, glad. Thank you for taking the time to do this quick interview, and we will keep it quick.
Okay.
But if you could state your name and tell us a little bit about your organization, your name, position, and title, and tell us a little bit about what your company does.
Okay. My name is Robert Frazier, and I am the operations manager for All-in-One Management and Services here in Springfield, Illinois. We are a certified DBE with the state of Illinois. We specialize in power washing, steam cleaning. We do buildings, flat work, construction cleanup, rail cars, equipment, detailing, fleet services. We also have diverse our what we do. We have a laundry center now where we process laundry, sheets, linen, all different types of things. We also have a coin operated laundry service at our facility here in Springfield. Our past performance with DOT, we were prime contractors for multiple contracts for bridge cleaning, and currently doing some stuff with CMS.
Super. Hey, just recently we just hosted our 16th annual statewide convention, and a part of the highlight of the conference, in our opinion and others' opinion, was the fact that we had the matchmaking. Give us your perspective on the matchmaking. Does it add value? And what do you think about it? And I can see that you have another champion with you who's behind the scenes there.
Hello.
The other boss, Pam. How you doing there, Pam?
I'm doing well.
That's the big boss. I'm just a little.
I know. I was trying not to hurt your ego, man, but I know he's running the show.
Yeah. She's trying to let me. She's trying to grow me up here a little bit and let me take the lead. But she's here to make sure I don't step out of line.
All is well.
But I was the one that attended some of the actual meetings, and I've been around, and we've been working with the Black Chamber for many, many, many years, and it's light years ahead of where it was, and just having the opportunity to sit and chat with the people who are the procurement people and know what they need, and just having that foot in the door and speaking to somebody that speaking the same language. So it's something we've been processing for many, many years. So we kind of ahead of the game than quite a few people. I thought it was awesome to have the opportunity to sit and talk with them personally and get right down to the nitty gritty in a short period of time.
Super. Well, you know, one of the things that I know that the Paradise Casino Hotel was looking for someone to detail cars. Did you get a chance to meet with them by chance?
Actually, you know, we were doing them for 10 plus years before the pandemic. And when the pandemic went down, of course, they shut down facilities, and we haven't really talked to them since they've been up. I don't know if they're in a struggling position or whether they're back and up and running full course. But no, I did not get a chance to meet with them when I did go in the meeting room, but nobody was there. So, but if one thing I could add, though, one thing I could add that would help out, though, you know, the span of 30 minutes, if you know what you're asking for, you know what you're aiming, you probably need about 5-10 minutes at the most. That'll give you an opportunity to move around, and they wouldn't be, because you run out of things to talk about after a while, and 30 minutes was a little bit too long.
Okay, fantastic. Well, you know, one of the things we'll do, we'll reach out to the Paradise Hotel. Give us a call beginning of next week, and we'll get a meeting set up with the Paradise on your behalf.
Okay, we appreciate that. Yeah.
Let me ask another question, and this is to Pamela and to you, is that if a person's in business and doesn't have the experience you have, and people are always trying to get to someone to do business, would you recommend that they participate in a matchmaking session? And why would, if you would, why would you tell them it would make sense?
Well, for me, I would have one side would be that just having the experience of actually knowing what the procurement person needs or what they're looking for is vital. I think there's a lot of hypothesis information out there about how to go about getting contracts, and it's good to be a DBE qualified if you have that, if you're fortunate enough to be there. But also, you still have to win the bid. I mean, you got to do your homework. You gotta do your work, and nobody's giving anything away just because you have some certifications. You gotta put your homework in. That's what I say. But Pam probably has.
Well, no, pretty much piggybacking on that. I mean, it's a great resource, and we've attended enough conferences to know, and it's about the networking and knowing that you can deliver, do what you say you're going to do, and of course, meeting that price demand and meeting what they need to be at. But just having that open dialogue, it just goes a long way. I mean, like I said, the Paradise has, once they shut down, and I mean, they stayed on top of the documentation, the certifications, everything, and as far as insurance concerns, they kept update with that, even from the corporate office aspect of it. So I would recommend anyone to participate. I mean, you never know what's available, you know, and a lot of times when you have that capability statement and they really don't know that you can branch out, not only whether it's window washing or the building exterior and the car, you know, maybe it's the sidewalks, just the entryways. So a lot of that discussion comes out meeting that need of what they have.
Super. Well, I know Illinois American Water Company and Paradise would be great matches for you. Again, I want to thank you for being true entrepreneurs. I've known you and your wife for a long time, and you guys have been at it for a long time doing what you do. So my hat's off to you, and God bless you. So again, thanks a lot for your time, and have a wonderful day.
All right.
You too.
Thanks, you as well. Take care. Tell the family
Bye-bye.
hello.
Will do.
All right.
My good friend Wally Muhammad spoke highly of you, and I wanted you to give us a chance to say your full name to us, and then tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do at your company. And then from there, I'll ask you a couple other questions, and we will keep it short and brief, but we definitely love to get your perspective and your input.
Okay, so I'm Angelita Muhammad, and I am an urban farmer in Los Angeles. Major Microgreens is the name of my company. That's Major Microgreens. And briefly, microgreens are baby vegetable plants, and you eat them on salads, sandwiches, soups. I have customers that even blend them in smoothies. And they're considered a superfood because they are more nutritious than their adult counterpart. and more nutritious than sprouts, but people often confuse them with sprouts because they're about the size of sprouts that you've probably had on your sandwich, or even if you've been to high-end restaurants, chefs typically garnish sushi or a salmon dish or whatever to make the plate pop with color. So I sell a niche product in the farmers markets here. I'm in about 6 markets in Los Angeles.
Fantastic. Hey, we just recently held our 16th annual state convention, and a part of the highlight of the convention, it was the matchmaking. Can you give us your perspective on the matchmaking, what you thought about it, and what your insights were in terms of the matchmaking? Was it worthwhile, and just your perspective on it?
Sure, that was the best part for me. I spoke with 2 universities, Illinois State University and University of Illinois. And that was exciting for me as a small business to have access to some of the larger venues that perchance I could, have a shot at a contract, or at least get an idea of what I'd be looking at, what I'd need to do to qualify. So it was just really expanding my, thinking and expanding, my horizons, so to speak. A little nerve-wracking because I didn't know, what am I getting into? But, there's always discomfort when you're growing. So I just accepted the challenge, and I enjoyed the conversation I had with Mr. Olson and Mrs. Reed from Illinois State University, as well as Shauna at University of Illinois, who made me feel really comfortable. And so I guess that being the second interview, I was less edgy, knowing, a little bit of what to expect. So I was just a lot more comfortable with Shauna than I was the previous interview. But again, just thinking about being able to even offer just something as small as encouragement to young people to consider urban farming, or to consider sustainable agriculture, or growing microgreens, just talking about what I do and sharing some of the passion besides the actual business side of it. So looking forward to whatever might come.
Super. Well, we want to thank you for your participation in our matchmaking session, and we surely would love to continue to work with you and work for you in terms of identifying other opportunities, because we all need to be healthy, and if you offer things that make people better, it's important. We have a very strong component with Dr. Shirley on our healthcare side, where he's looking for unique things in terms of preventive healthcare. So the sick care, we want preventive care, and that's eating right and doing the right things at the same time, and that will produce better healthcare outcomes for us. So again, you were unique in the marketplace. It was glad to have someone that was not like everybody else. You get a lot of construction, you get a lot of engineers, you get a lot of people who sell widgets and goods and services, but you had something that was really unique and very specialized. So we again want to thank you for bringing that to us. When you take a look at the conference, in your experience, if you ran into someone who was considering maybe participating in our matchmaking, what would you tell them, and what would be your thoughts? Would you encourage them to participate? Just give us your perspective.
Absolutely, go for it, because I didn't know what I had to offer. I really was a little nervous, a lot nervous, but I think it's an experience that has given me confidence, even with what I do here. Even if that doesn't go anywhere, I have confidence, in knowing that, hey, I talked to universities. I mean, I was willing to offer myself, my services, my knowledge to, a huge corporation, if you will. And it was encouraging for a little person like me. So I would definitely encourage others to take advantage, just to see. You never know, you never know where you fit in. So and you won't find out if you don't take advantage of opportunities like this. So thank you, Chairman Ivory, for offering me the opportunity to have the one-on-one.
Well, it was our pleasure, and we want you to continue to be encouraged and continue to keep us healthy. And if there's anything that we can do for you, give us a call. And I know there will be other opportunities for us to talk with Wally and you and the chamber to see how we can help each other. So again, thank you for your time, and thank you for your participation in our conference.
Thank you, sir. Best wishes to you.
Same to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So if you can first start off with introducing yourself, your first and last name, and your position with your company.
Okay, my name is Wale Adeoye, the president and the owner of Victory Pharmacy of Decatur, Inc., also Victory Medical Equipment.
Awesome, good, thank you. So just recently we had our 16th annual state convention, and I am aware that you participated in our one-on-one matchmaking sessions. In your opinion, how would you say that went, and what was your experience and some of the companies that you met with?
I would say it was exceptional. You know, that's one of the best events that I've participated in. The matchmaking was well organized, and you know, I've been with Illinois Black Chamber for a while, and actually I was the president of Metro Decatur Black Chamber, and this function that I participated in is one of the best since I've been with Chamber. So they did a fantastic job. The whole team did very well. The IT people did well, get everybody in. And I was trying to observe overall, not just what I'm doing, but what everybody else is doing. And I'm very impressed.
For sure. So with that being said, you would participate in the future for a matchmaking session?
Yeah, that's a guarantee.
Guaranteed. Awesome. So let's say you actually ran into one of your friends, or another small business who's considering joining the chamber, or joining in on the convention. Would you recommend them being a part of the matchmaking sessions?
Oh, definitely. Actually, not only matchmaking, they need to join Illinois Black Chamber. That's just the bottom line. We have to network, and Larry is doing a good job to bring some opportunities to us. When we work hard, we should see the results. So I'm looking forward to see some of the results. What we do, we sow now, and time to harvest is coming. So I'm very hopeful. So I will encourage anybody who hasn't been part of this great chamber to come on board. It will be very beneficial to them.
Yes. So along with the outcomes that you mentioned, what was a highlight that you can recall with one of your sessions with the companies and primes that you met with?
I think one was, time is everything, and God have a way of intervening. When I had a section with University of Illinois Champaign, not Champaign, I think it's Carbondale.
Carbondale, okay.
I understand that the vendor who used to supply procure the medical supplies, I think 2 of them left. So, and they said they are in look for other people that can step in. So I'm thinking we have a great opportunity there to meet their needs. So I'm planning, I think I'll follow up. I will make sure that we are considered for to replace those people that are left. So that's a great opportunity, I believe.
For sure. Thank you. Is there anything else that you would like to mention as well for this convention, or to say to the chamber?
Well, I think this is, I mean, it's like a new chamber, to be honest with you. I mean, Larry has been great. He's been doing too much, but I think focusing on the members and providing the opportunity to them is the best thing that can happen, because that's what people expect. You want to get something out of your membership. They always say membership has privileges, and the greatest privilege is to have opportunity. All what we're asking for is opportunity. So if you have the opportunity or giving the opportunity, we can perform. We can perform. So opening the door for us, I think is a great thing, and I think that's what we should be looking for. And hopefully, Chamber can look at the outcome of this. I mean, it's great we met with all these people. Do they help us? Do they deliver? Do they follow up to make sure that we are able to supply or meet their needs? So I'm impressed, I'm grateful, and I wish Larry and the whole team a great success going forward.
For sure. Thank you so much, Wally. I really appreciate you hopping on and taking the time to make sure that you could join. And I think that's going to be a wrap for your interview.
All right. All right. Have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Already. Bye-bye.
Right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Lee, would you like to tell us your name and who you're affiliated with in your role and position, and a little bit about the company?
Sure. Thanks, Larry. Appreciate the invite. My name is Lee Fantroy, project executive with BOA Construction, and I've been with the company for about 5 years now. Basically, my responsibilities have to do with overseeing the development and operations of various projects within the city of Chicago, downstate Illinois, especially within central Illinois, as well as Peoria area as well, and Joliet.
Super. Lee, you had a chance to participate in our 16th annual conference. One of the highlights of the conference we hear was the matchmaking meeting. Give us your perspective on the value of the matchmaking from your eyes and from BOA's eyes.
Yeah, I think from my eyes, it's probably the same as BOA's, is that it gives us an opportunity to start to find inroads into areas or markets that we're trying to pursue. You know, several of those companies that we had a chance to talk to was Paradise Casino, the city of Champaign, which has been, very, critical to us because we have an office down in that area. So these are just some of the companies that we had an opportunity to meet with and discuss, what we would like to do.
Super, super. One of the other things, Lee, is that, you guys are a successful company in the area of construction. If the smaller company who's never been involved in matchmaking asks you if you would encourage them to participate in the matchmaking, what would your comments be? And I think the last comment would be, what do you think we can do to make matchmaking even better?
Well, first of all, going back to the first question that you asked me, would I encourage companies to participate in matchmaking? Absolutely. I mean, how else do they get an opportunity to identify who you are, right? I mean, that's the whole purpose of it. I think some of the things that we can possibly make better, I think it's really just follow up. And I think that has to deal, it's a two-way street. I think that has to fall on the participant, the contractor, as well as the advocacy agency, which is in this case, the Illinois Black Chamber, which you guys are doing. So I think it's just, maybe just tweaking a little bit of what you're doing now, and just it's a matter of follow through. But at this point, I think you guys are really on the right path in terms of setting it up. In my case, I had an opportunity, I believe it was Exelon. For whatever reason, I wasn't able to get all the information from them. Immediately, I gave you a call. You was able to provide me with that information. I mean, that's follow up. That's helping us follow through on a potential client that we may want to pursue, in days to come. So, these type of things I think is critical. Once the matchmaking starts, the key is the follow through and the follow up. And I think you guys again are on track in terms of doing it, providing that service.
Well, Lee, Liz, thank you. And we will take those comments to heart. One of the comments we've heard from people has been, a little bit more follow-up, because you echoed the same thing. And I think the follow-up on our side too, to make sure that our vendors are making sure that they're following up with the potential contractor who wants to do business with them and give an up-to-date report. So I think there's room for improvement. And I again want to thank BOA, one of the outstanding companies in the general construction space, for participating in the matchmaking. And thank you for participating in the brief interview in reference to the matchmaking. Take care, Lee.
Thanks a lot, Larry. Appreciate it.
Take care. Bye.
My name is Will Kiles. I serve in a number of capacities, whether it be as deputy mayor on the city council or as a business owner, Major and Minor Details Incorporated, where we sell majority of our items online.
Super. Will, we had a chance to recently do our 16th annual convention, and a part of the convention was the matchmaking, which most people said was a highlight of the conference. Give us your perspective. You participated in the matchmaking. Give us your perspective in terms of the value that the matchmaking might have offered your company from your perspective.
The matchmaking was essential. It was the highlight and the major reason why I personally would have been in attendance for the conference. I was meeting with companies that I would have never had an opportunity to meet with decision makers. And it's important to a company, a small company, to be able to have access and to be able to meet with people who are interested, at least in hearing your business story and seeing how the two of your goals can align.
Super. Well, one of the things that we always work on the chamber is to find people and to find companies, as well as companies who want to do business with companies and companies who are looking to do business with companies. If a young company who were not a part of the chamber were to ask you, should they participate in the matchmaking, what would be your perspective and why should they participate?
Well, I was asked that question a couple of times as I was involved in the direct recruitment of companies. And one of the things that I said, again, is that you are meeting with people that you would not have access to, number one. And it's not that those people aren't public. It's just that you don't even know, if you don't know who to go to, or who controls procurement, or you don't know the right people to talk to, then number one, then you're kind of dead in the water. And so if you want the experience in procurement, and you want to at least begin the networking process with agencies like I met, maybe some of them were universities, others were procurement offices in the state. I think that this would be a great opportunity for you to do that.
Super, Will. Well, we always look for how do we better our best. Give us your perspective on a couple of things, or anything you think we can do to make matchmaking even better.
Well, it's just I think that actually this year it was better. It's the continuous follow-up. Typically, companies like ours, smaller companies, and maybe even some of the larger ones, but in the government, big scheme of how government does business, most of the companies are small. It's a continuous follow-up and encouraging the follow-up between the two parties. A lot of times you have a lot of meetings, but then there's no follow-up in between, whether it's a company like mine or it's the companies that you're trying to meet. And so increasing that and improving and stressing that's really what really makes this thing work. Maybe you have an opportunity now. I think that's the second thing. Or maybe that opportunity is 6 months from now, working with companies and just letting them know that now this is a process and that this relationship will develop. And if you continue to stay in contact with those companies, you will be able to successfully have something down the line.
Well, Will, there's a saying that people do business with people they know and like. And if they don't even know you, the chances of you're doing business with them is greatly reduced. We want to thank you for your company, Major Minor Detail, and for your leadership on the city council as deputy mayor for the city of Champaign. Mr. Kiles, thanks very much.
Well, we want to thank you, Mr. Ivory, and your team, the Illinois Black Chamber of Commerce. And if I had any final words, I would say thank you, because you're opening up access for companies that would never have opportunities or access. That's not that is not an opinion. That is a fact that I have observed and I understand after just being in the environment and trying to survive on my own. I understand what it is to have that type of access. And we want to thank you all for continuing to open up doors.
Mr. Cowles, thank you very much. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
day.
You as well.
Justin, glad to have you on. Tell us a little about who you are, your name and your company, and then I'm going to ask you a couple other questions.
Sounds good. And Larry, I appreciate you having me on today. So as you mentioned, my name is Justin Claiborne. I am, spent my career primarily on Wall Street doing a lot of investment banking and finance. I recently purchased a company called International Card Solutions. We are a payment processor. So you can think about when individuals go to McDonald's, for example, and they want to buy a cheeseburger and they insert their debit or credit card into that point of sale machine. We sell those point of sales machines as well as the behind the scenes technology that would allow McDonald's to accept their customers' credit or debit card payment. Our value add, one is being minority and helping businesses to complete their supplier diversity kind of spend goals. But I think also more importantly is we're very competitive in our cost. And so we've been able to save a lot of businesses money by reducing the cost that is related to them accepting credit and debit card payments.
Absolutely. Well, again, I want to acknowledge the fact that we are one of your clients and we're going to be switching over from PayPal to your company.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, no problem at all. We just had our 16th annual convention. And, one of the highlights of the convention was the matchmaking. At least that's what people have told us. The panelists were great, but the matchmaking was what people really enjoyed as an opportunity to talk to people. Give us your take on the matchmaking in terms of the value added for you and your company.
Absolutely. And first, I'll say I appreciate the diversity of companies, of universities that the Illinois Black Chamber of Commerce is able to bring to the matchmaking process or to the program. It's allowed us to, not only increase the awareness of international card solutions, but to begin to build some of those relationships with, key stakeholders, because, from what I've seen in the conversations that I've had, these individuals who are part of the matchmaking program are heads of the procurement offices. And so these are the decision makers and the people who it's sometimes tough to have those introductory conversations. But through the matchmaking program, you all are making that possible. And it's been very beneficial for us to build some of these relationships, especially kind of giving in today's day and age of COVID, where people aren't taking as many in-person meetings. And so, rather than trying to send cold emails or, having, maybe soft or warm introductions, being able to have a platform that you can speak directly for 30, 45 minutes with these procurement officers has been highly advantageous, for international card solutions.
Super. Well, the other question we have for you, Justin, is say, for example, a company who did not participate in the matchmaking and they happen to ask you, what do you think about the matchmaking? Should they participate? What would be your response to any company that has never participated in the matchmaking?
Yes, yes, and yes. Right. If they were not able to participate, I would tell them, please sign up. Right. If you need me to connect you with Larry, Deja, or anyone else to get you signed up and registered for, next year's matchmaking program, please, utilize me as a resource. Because again, I give you one example. International Card Solutions was certified on a federal level with the Department of Transportation as both an airport concession disadvantaged business enterprise as well as just a disadvantaged business enterprise. One certification that I wasn't familiar with was the BEP certification. and having conversations with the various vendors, through the matchmaking program, they gave me that information that, hey, if you were able to obtain this certification, then these are additional benefits that you can bring to the table. And so just from an informational standpoint, right, beyond the networking, I would tell that individual or that business, it behooves you to be a part of this platform and this program, or maybe even better, an ecosystem, because there are a lot of opportunities that you may not know exist that are there for you.
Super. Well, let me also, again, Justin, thank you, for the services that you provide, the professionalism that you bring to the table. I guess my closing question for you would be this. What can we do from your perspective to make matchmaking even better? Because we can always better our best. What suggestions would you give us?
That's a good question. I may have to think about this one. What would I recommend that, I would say, and I believe, and you all do this, right? But, I would say in having these conversations with the various vendors, right? I'm talking to a lot of universities, and they say, oh, well, we have RFPs coming up, and the next 3 months, 6 months, year, et cetera. If there was a way that we could take the businesses, so you have International Card Solutions, which is credit card processing. Maybe you have other kind of building trades to other professional services firms. If there was a way that you all could work with those companies to kind of have an understanding of what opportunities are coming up within the next 6 to 12 months, and kind of have an aggregate list of those, and those can kind of be filtered to some of the businesses like International Card Solutions. And I'm saying this because a part of this is we need to do our homework as well, right? But if there was some collaborative effort that we can work together and know holistically, as I'm going to talk to the University of Illinois, it's like, hey, I saw X contract is coming up in the next 6 months. What can I be doing today or during this conversation to best position me to hopefully win that bid? Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Justin, as always, man, you have raised the bar. You've done a great job of articulating the value as well as the things that we can do to better our best. So again, let me thank you on behalf of the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce, and we look forward to working with you and look forward to getting you into like the Chicago O'Hare Airport, the Midway Airport, places like that. So look forward to it. You have a wonderful day, Justin.
Likewise. Thank you, Larry. And thank you, Illinois Black Chamber of Commerce, for all that you all have done. Really put International Card Solutions on the right trajectory for success. And I'm very humbled and appreciative of those opportunities you've all extended to us.
Thank you very much. Take care.